Fenlong!
Not yet learned your lesson?
This time, Fenlong, I came ready.
Ready to lose again?
Welcome to the relay. We're covering today's top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Per veteran boxing scribe Dan Raphael, promoter Bob Arum weighed in on Keyshawn Davis's heavily criticized decision to reject career-high money to challenge welterweight champion Devin Haney in the fight Davis called for.
Listen, I'm an old man. I don't know what to think it is. I don't have any goddamn idea.
The 94-year-old Bob Arum told Fight Freaks Unite this week. 94 years old. 94 fucking years old. Do you think a 94-year-old man has time and energy to play musical chairs with these kids? Salucci with the fight.
We went out and we tried to make this fight for him because he shot his mouth off that this was the fight he wanted. And then when we made the fight, he doesn't want it.
So you know how I'm always harping about fighters having too much agency, too much autonomy in the modern era to waste everybody's time and waste everybody's money. This is a perfect example. Should Keyshawn Davis, because it doesn't just affect him, shouldn't there be some sort of a penalty for all of this? Shouldn't it cost Keyshawn Davis something, since it's costing the promoter that pays him time? Time is an invaluable resource, you know. Young people don't see it because they have so much of it, but time is the one thing that you don't get back. And every moment that Keyshawn Davis is not fighting, Top Rank is unable to provide content to their broadcast partner. Let that happen enough times with enough fighters, and you may find yourself without one, without a home for your fights, for your fighters. They got too much agency these days, and that's a big problem. I consider it a big problem. Things ran more smoothly when the mafia was running things. Fighters didn't have as much agency back then, but at least back then, you had someone ensuring that the business stays lucrative, that things stay profitable, that it's not all in vain. Whereas now, it's regular for promoters to operate in the red. It could be years before they get an ROI on any one of these fighters that they invest in, like Keyshawn. Do you really think that Top Rank has started making money on this fighter? No, I would say no. If the base pay for a Keyshawn Davis fight is in the neighborhood of $1 million a fight, if that's his guarantee, what you then have to ask is, when and where does Top Rank get that $1 million back? Because I don't think he generated $1 million at the gate in Norfolk, Virginia. No, most boxing fans don't actually understand how this industry works and how it could be years before a promoter, even an established one like Top Rank, actually turns over a profit on any one of these fighters they invest in, because that's what they're doing. They are investing. Believe it or not, in some instances, they never turn over a profit at all. Sometimes it's just a wash and you have to cut your losses. If you're lucky, you can break even. As well as the fighters from this era not being as hungry, as driven as their predecessors, because the fighters in this era are all too comfortable sitting out for extended periods. Well, that's because they get paid so much. They can afford to. They're getting paid too much. It's market inflation, which we talk about all the time. You can liken the fighters to game dogs, since they're in the same racket, and I never heard of a good game dog that's eating steak every night. That's just going to make them complacent, like today's American fighters, who have no passion for what they do. No real semblance of pride. They've got the talking part down, but the backing it up part, that's what they seem to struggle with. Keyshawn Davis is not yet in a place where he can afford to turn his nose up at any offer to fight someone like Devin Haney, because whether you like Devin or not, he is established, he is a world champion, and you are not yet in a place where you're earning the same kind of money that he is. To get there, you gotta fight him. Yeah. You gotta beat him. Yeah. Then after that, we can talk. You want to talk now. You want to haggle like you're in a position to do so. Who are you gonna fight for what remains of this year, if you are gonna fight in what remains of this year? Or are you comfortable sitting out and wasting more time while your contemporaries get out there and get to work? Would seem that reigning IBF champion Liam Paro is of a similar mindset. According to veteran boxing scribe Julius Julianus, Devin Haney and Jack Catterall are in very advanced negotiations to face off on October 3rd for Devin's WBO welterweight title.
What happened to Liam?
Would seem that the negotiations between Liam and Devin broke down before they really even began, as the negotiation with Liam broke down due to the Aussies' excessive economic demands.
Well, define excessive.
Liam Paro, ever since pairing up with No Limit Promotions in Australia and basing himself out of there, has been paid well, drawing decent-sized crowds in the land down under to where he's not starving. His ass isn't snapping at the grass for a fight. No Limit can find him someone to fight, so that if what you want is for him to travel to box in America, you've got to pay to play. We don't have an exact number.
You're justifying this.
No, I'm just explaining it. Whether or not you want to castigate Liam for not taking the Haney fight is up to you. But without a number, an actual number, I can't criticize him to say if he did or didn't price himself out, because I don't know what they offered him.
Versus what he's already making.
So now Bevan looks to be fighting Jack Tuna Catterall, who's already in line to challenge the winner of Lopez versus Romero as their mandatory challenger. It would seem that he may get his shot at the big time ahead of time.
Bevan.
I can't think of a more boring fight to watch than Devin Haney versus Jack Catterall. Neither guy
Melvin
is an action fighter. Devin is a pure boxer. Jack Catterall is a cross between a pure boxer and a boxer puncher. But what he's not is an action guy. He's not an action fighter. So what happens when you put two guys in the ring, neither of which are action fighters or knockout merchants, neither of which hit all that hard?
They better not even dream of making this a pay-per-view.
Well, because of what Devin's guarantee might be, they might have to. God only knows what they're guaranteeing Devin on DAZN per fight. So just his purse alone might force them to put this fight behind a paywall.
That doesn't make it pay-per-view worthy, though. That doesn't make it a hot ticket.
Well, that's what I've been telling you. The operational costs to do a show these days have shot up astronomically to where the only way to recoup the money is to put it on pay-per-view, then hope that people buy it. But a fight like this, Devin and Jack,
What the fact?
and the fuck, might happen in the United Kingdom, might happen in the United States. They might bill it as a pay-per-view to add to their ultimate tier. I don't imagine it would sell very much. Devin wins.
If it's about that and we're going to break down the fight, Jack Catterall is not going to outbox Devin Haney.
Couldn't outbox Arnold Barboza, for Christ's sake. He can't beat Bevan at his own game.
You're not that guy, pal. Trust me. You're not that guy. Okay.
And he doesn't crack hard enough to knock out Devin with a single shot. Like it or not, Devin's a tough nut to crack. Look at how many left hooks he ate from Brian Garcia, but he kept getting up. And I don't think Jack Tuna Catterall hits as hard as Brian Garcia on the sauce.
On the juice? Hell no.
So Devin likely wins another ho-hum decision in another anticlimactic, overpriced fight that he is overpaid for. Speaking of Brian Garcia, we just mentioned, and the guy he's about to fight, Benn, he's vowing a stoppage of Ryan Garcia in what will be his final welterweight fight. After 4 years away from the division, he's already planning on leaving it again.
Should give you some idea of how the weight cut is going.
Benn believes Ryan Garcia will not hear the final bell when they meet for the WBC welterweight title on September 12th. The British contender confirmed the bout will be his final appearance at 147, simultaneously his first appearance at the weight in 4 years.
What the fuck's he going down there for then?
Benn has not fought at the welterweight limit since 2022 after twice moving up to face Chris Eubank Jr. Making 147 again has become one of the toughest challenges of his training camp. But he insists taking Garcia's WBC title in Vegas will make the sacrifice worthwhile.
Taking his title, taking it where? You're gonna leave the division right after that.
I don't care what he's doing, like it makes no difference. He can carry on doing what he's doing, said Benn to Ring Magazine about Brian. It doesn't concern me at all. All I know is I'm working extremely hard to come out victorious. No doubt, I'll be looking for the stoppage myself. I think I'll stop him. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, you wish. If it's that hard for you to get down to 147, how are you gonna pack the punch, the power to take him out? Ryan's good at 147. For him, it's a breath of fresh air. But for Conor?
The weight cut figures to be one of Benn's biggest hurdles before he even steps into the ring. He looked visibly drained on the scales before his 150-pound catchweight bout against Regis Prograis in April, making his condition at the weight worth watching on September 12th.
Yeah, it's hard. It's brutal. This is my last fight at 147. When I win the world title, I'll move on, said Benn. Yeah, I haven't made 147 in 4 years, so it's challenging. I went up to 183 for the Eubank fights, but we're getting it done.
Being hungry can make you irritable, and when you're attempting to make a weight that you haven't made in 4 years, part of that process is going hungry, starving yourself. Asked where he sees himself after the Garcia fight, Benn answered 154, 160, 168. Leaving welterweight may prove easier than finding success in the heavier divisions. Benn should be able to win fights against domestic level opposition, but climbing becomes much steeper against elite Jaron Ennis, Virgil Ortiz, Sebastian Fundora, Israel Madrimov, Carlos Adames, Yohan Lee Gonzalez, and WBA middleweight champion Arislandi Lara would all present difficult stylistic and physical challenges. Benn's performance against a 37-year-old Regis Prograis did little to quiet concerns about how he'll fare after moving up. Prograis was fighting above his best weight and well past his prime, yet Benn still had to work hard for the win. If Benn struggles at 154 pounds or above, he may eventually have to reconsider his decision to leave welterweight. Returning to 147 would require another brutal weight cut, but it also may offer his best route back into the title picture. First, however, he must defeat Garcia to leave the division as WBC champion, though he's already telling you everything you need to know. He hasn't made the weight yet, but he's already made the decision that after this, he's not doing this again.
Staying at 147 is not an option for Conor Benn. In the 4 years that have since passed his last time there, he's outgrown it.
He's gonna get knocked out by Ryan Garcia, believe me. He's not gonna have the strength, the zip, the pop, the punch resistance, any of it.
Ryan's gonna punch him right in the seat.
Right in the brown. After which, he's gonna have to move up. But who can he actually beat at junior middleweight? Because he's not beating Jaron Ennis, he's not beating Virgil Ortiz, he's not beating Sebastian Fundora. I don't even know if he beats Josh Kelly.
Coleman Ajarko, maybe?
Maybe, but what does fighting Coleman Ajarko pay? What does he make for that fight? Because he made a lot of money from the 2 Chris Eubank Jr. fights. He's making a lot of money now with Brian. What do you think? He's gonna go from making all this money to making domestic level dollars for a Coleman Ajarko? The only fight that I can think of that might be safe enough and simultaneously pay enough is a Tim Kazoo fight.
Nepo fight!
Nepo baby fight. It's a Nepo baby fight.
Fight of the Nepo babies that are still living in their fathers' shadows. Conor Benn living in Nigel Benn's shadow. Tim Kazoo living in Kostya Zoo's shadow at 160.
Nepo fight!
Nepo baby fight. It's a Nepo baby fight.
Tim Zoo is box office in Australia. Conor Benn is box office in the UK. On the world stage, you could put it together and get attention from both respective markets.
Tim Zoo's got about 3 losses now, right? Where Conor, he's got 1 going on 2.
The most sensible choice for Conor Benn, above 147, the most winnable fight, and perhaps the one that would pay the most while being winnable, would have to be the Tim Zoo fight. Anybody else who's a somebody beats Conor, but he might stand a chance against Tim.
Against him?
It's just something to think about ahead of the Ryan Garcia fight that I think we all agree Conor is going to lose. Speaking of losers, David Benavidez avoided Opataya before Mikhailian stepped up, according to Robert Segal at Boxing News 24. Sergio Mora is criticizing David Benavidez for potentially fighting Mikhail Cieslak rather than Jai Opataya, but his argument leaves out an important part of the story. Benavidez already had opportunities to pursue Opataya and showed little interest in making the fight.
Even though the money was there, the money's still there.
Former champion Mora believes WBC cruiserweight champion Noel Mikhailian pushed Benavidez aside by landing the September 12th fight with Opataya.
Why would he have done that if David Benavidez is the new face of boxing, as they've been saying? Why would he choose to fight a more dangerous opponent that doesn't even have a title?
The money! the fucking money.
It's not hard to understand. David can't be the face of boxing because this ain't the kind of thing that happens when you're the face of boxing. Nobody ever turned their nose up at a Floyd Mayweather fight or a Canelo Alvarez fight. So if David is the face...
Nobody should be turning their nose up at him, but Noel Mikhalian just did. I would think if you're David Benavidez, you're supposed to carry yourself as the A-side. You think you're the man. You've already headlined in Vegas, and that's going to be your next date, more Retolt DAZN. I'm thinking I'm the man, and then I get pushed aside by Noel Mikhalian. Really? That's what I would be upset at if I were David. And then Jai Opataya is the fight that we all want to see? Instead, you're going to be hopefully turning to a CS-Slack, a Polish fighter I've never heard of or seen before.
And why? Because he's older, because he's more beatable, and it's easier for you to pull rank on him since Mikhail doesn't make much anyway.
The narrative makes it sound as though Mikhalian took an Opataya fight Benavidez wanted. There has been little indication Benavidez was serious about pursuing it. Opataya has publicly called out Benavidez, accusing him this week of avoiding the matchup. When his fight with Mikhalian was announced, the Australian specifically singled out Benavidez. Credit to Noel for stepping up to the plate, while others, yes you David Benavidez, I'm talking about you, continue to run and hide. Opataya said Benavidez had the opportunity to target Opataya after moving to cruiserweight, but chose to pursue other options. If he faces CS-Slack next, Mikhalian cannot be blamed for pushing him out of an Opataya fight he had not been pursuing. Mora may be unaware of that history or simply chose not to mention it. Whatever the reason, his criticism misses the larger issue. Benavidez did not need Mikhalian to move aside. He could have pursued Opataya himself.
Yeah, he just didn't want to. What accents the shift in the axis of power within the boxing space, normally the media would be going up to bat for David Benavidez and protecting him, but they're done doing that because it's not fruitful. There's no money in it.
You can't manufacture a face of boxing, no. The media can't do it, and neither can the sanctioning bodies. Give a guy as many belts as you want via email.
UPS.
Amazon, same-day delivery. Until the fans themselves are behind that fighter, he ain't the face of nothing.
Because it's the fans who decide who the face of boxing is, not sanctioning bodies colluding with promoters or media members that want to pal around with the fighters.
It's going to be very interesting to see how David Benavidez explains himself when the time comes, because he's gonna have to. He's never in a position to play holier than thou with this division's Ring Magazine and lineal champion, who I've long maintained now has more money behind him than David has.
Money makes the world go round. Money is the lifeblood of the sport, more than sanctioning body belts and articles via journos.
Partial content creators talking you up like you're the best thing smoking.
You can sense it. The shift in the axis of power. This is a fighter who the media would normally protect, whereas now they're roasting him. They're holding his feet to the fire.
About time they started doing that.